This afternoon, we want to talk about the ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, first Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It's happening right now. My name is Paul Beeee. He's buddy to Gawd.
Hey, we here.
How y'all doing this morning? Fresh edition is happening right now on this Monday, May the 26th, 2025. So, yep, thanks for joining us. Good morning. Pops in the chat already. Good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. It's a tough morning for us this morning, for sure. Lots of activity over the weekend we'll definitely be getting into. But before we do, how you feeling this morning, buddy?
Man, yeah, I don't know, man. I had a pretty interesting weekend personally. Yeah, had a pretty good weekend in the studio. A little tired. Actually pretty excited that, knock on wood, that the tech is working decently this morning. That was pretty frustrated about that on Monday or Friday.
You'll jinx us right at the beginning of the show.
Man. Knock on wood. But just preparing for today's conversation, also paying attention to what's going on in the community. My heart is definitely going out to the community, to the Ibrahim family. Of course, we'll be talking about that today as more and more information is coming out. And a lot of angles, a lot of layers to address this, but didn't want to gloss over this on Friday. It was kind of a Love Supreme Friday, so we wanted to keep the energy high and prepare for our conversation with Sister Denise Chapman, which hopefully you caught that if you didn't check it out on YouTube. But today we wanted to give the right amount of attention and time to this story as possible. So that's where my mind is.
There you go.
How about you?
Yeah, same. The city really activated here this weekend, our community in a big way. It definitely has affected me personally over the weekend. Been very, very hurt by what happened to Brother Ibrahim and what's been going on with his family since. Very proud of the activity that the community has gone is kicked in hard with support. And so yeah, just super, super heavy on this. And we definitely have to jump in and talk about it today, like you said. And I appreciate everybody that's contributed over the weekend. And it's just on my mind hard. So that's happening. Plus, we got a special guest coming in this morning as well that we've been anticipating having on again for a while. Brother Preston Love Jr. is going to be here. He kind of wanted to do a rundown of what just happened with the election and also why Black votes still matter.
Man,
knowing him, I'm quite sure he's pretty active with what's going on with everything too. So I'm sure that he'll have some things to say about the recent activity that's been going on. Before we jump into that, though, I do want to do a few community updates, and it's going to be a pretty heavy show. So I kind of want to start with something fairly light. Shout out to Idle Vital, who just got into a magazine. Yeah, they just got a nice spread of magazine in Midwest Living. Get your copy of Midwest Living, and you can kind of see what's going on there with them. And I'm glad they're getting some shine. They also had their brunch yesterday, and it looked like it was a good turnout. Lots of folks turned out for that.
Yeah.
So went to their brunch, Ida Vital's brunch over there on Cass Street. Let us know. Love to hear about that, and tell us about that firsthand. And also, Brother Marlon Harrison dropped a post that I appreciate. He said this is his summer look.
Okay.
I'm saying,
that shirt.
You know what, Chad Chimers, go ahead and send in your looks. What's gonna be your look this summer? Maybe Marlon starting something with this. I like it.
Styling profiling,
man. So appreciate everybody that's jumped in for real. Mark Matter gives us a good morning. Marlon Harrison is in the chat saying good morning, First Guy fam. RG says morning, y'all. RG says get Aaron Hansen out the paint. It's deeper than that. I say Don Klein. It's time to really do something because whatever's getting ready to happen is getting ready to have to go through him, and we already know what's going on there. So that's rough. Sean McCarthy says, morning. Hope everyone had an okay weekend. It's been a tough one, brother.
Yeah, man.
Heather Williams says, good morning. Appreciate you. And Marlon Harrison says, and RG, don't forget the chief, Todd S. Okay. They want everybody out the paint right now. Okay. I hear you. Also, Sean McCarthy says went to the Idle Vital brunch. Appreciate that. He says, and that was a standing room only. So
Okay.
they packed out the house, man. I really appreciate everybody that has been
Yeah.
really supporting them in a big way. So,
Got a vegan plate.
man, you know what I'm saying? A vegan pop
Yeah.
up and the
Yeah.
Idle Vital juice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, cold.
I saw she hiring too. I think if you looking for a jobby job.
Yeah, we've been posting jobby jobs a lot on there too, so that's what's up. Also, just want to mention if you haven't signed up to the weekly wrap, I highly encourage you to do that. We're making changes all the time. We made some recent changes, and there's a recent survey out. First of all, I'll put the weekly wrap link in the chat for you guys to check out.
Check it out
But
right now.
yeah, but if you have not signed up for that yet, you can just do the survey on its own. So there's the link to the survey. Highly encourage you to do that. We're kind of trying to figure out where you get your news from. So lots of good changes there, and we're going to start doing some surveys a little bit more regularly so we can see what our community is asking for. So the first one, I just put the link in the chat. Please hit that when you get a chance, and let us know where you're getting your news from. That's will be the purpose of that one. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it there, man. We got lots of things coming up. Of course, we'll do a more extensive haps on Friday since it'll be like the weekend coming up. But since we have such a heavy topic that we got to get into and a special guest, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short and go ahead and turn it over to you, buddy, to let us know how are we connecting all these things, the connections of all the news that's been going on here. What's happening?
Yeah, man. Several layers to this story. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the show, want to give enough time, and really, to be honest, I don't even think today's show will be enough time to dive into everything that we have to talk about. But of course, today we will be focusing on the tragic shooting that took the life of brother Janadi Ibrahim on Thursday morning. Again, the officer involved in the shooting, his name has been released. But there's several things being released, not just from major network news channels, which we'll dive into their reports, but also from our community. Again, this is why we're so heavy on the citizen journalism, the citizens telling their own story from the community, because there's always something extra that's left out from these major news reports. But I definitely appreciate the work of brother Sherman Wells, who's been boots on the roots for this whole situation. If you haven't seen any of his videos, we'll kind of be recapping some of the things he has been there with the family. There's several, as I mentioned, elements to this, not just the ongoing investigation, the call for the body camera footage of what actually happened that night, but more and more information following the last 72 hours as far as what has happened since then. Search warrant has been created, really, if you can say that. Again, there's been a arrest made in connection. There's been some reported harassment of the family. There's a religious aspect to this as far as the family calling for the body, which still has not been released, which we'll dive into here in a second. And then also a few statements that have been released. Shout out to Mayor-elect Ewing released his own statement we'll go through. And then also Sheriff Aaron Hansen released a statement, which again, a lot of people are responding to, if you will. On top of all of that, of course, there's the law side of it, or as far as the laws, the rules, the regulations, the agreements. Of course, Douglas County Sheriff's Office and the Omaha Police Department apparently have an agreement that people are just now digging into, trying to figure out who really has jurisdiction in this situation. Why was Douglas County Sheriff's Office in North Omaha patrolling the streets? So we'll dive into that, but also the larger conversation as far as, the irony of the bills. Again, we will be having brother Preston Love Jr. on talking about Black Votes Matter and, how the vote is impacting all of this. And currently some people that the community has voted in, talking about Senators Ashley Spivey and Terrell McKinney. They're fighting on their end as far as trying to really save lives. As Senator McKinney put it, again, the vote for LB 560 and really public safety in general. There's a huge public safety bill that was pushed forward on Thursday, again, ironically, just hours after this incident took place. So we'll be talking about that, what that means as far as public safety and who's really being, protected, who's really being served, and who's being targeted. So again, we'll talk about all that and more. Of course, if there's anything on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. But again, very, very multi-level, multi-tiered conversation. So we'll pretty much be focusing on that today.
Yep. Most definitely appreciate that very much. Let us know about your comments. This has been a real community effort. Shout out to Precious McKesson, who's been posting a lot of what's going on. Buddy mentioned Sherman Wells, of course, with Untamed. Untamed has been putting out stuff like this all weekend long. Douglas County Sheriff's Office, we are not going away. Show that body cam footage now. Some demands on showing body cam footage in a big way. And also, of course, we'll be talking about other statements that have been made, Mayor-elect Ewing in particular, but also Brother Kasim over at the BAA.
Man,
You know that he has a survival club that's going on, and the survival club was supposed to do some of them survival club things this weekend, but he had to sit the kids down and felt it was a need to talk about this. This is if you want to ever see, this is one of the best pictures I've seen in a while, because it really shows Brother Kasim, who really cares about these kids and is involved so many different kids in our community. These are the ones that got boots to the roots, helping these kids out from scratch in front of their faces. And this brother decided, they all came to go, do the stuff they do on the land and so on and so forth, their survival club activities. But he said today was supposed to be the fishing training for our students of the Black Agenda Alliance or Urban Survival Club Omaha. But we found it to be a bigger necessity and mandatory obligation that we teach on the terrorist patrolling of our neighborhoods disguised as peacekeepers. This week has been extremely emotional, as we have lost another beautiful young man who deserved a chance at life due to negligence of the irresponsible sheriff's department patrolman, in whom they claim to be a 12-year veteran by the name of Jesse Ronk. Myself and Miguel Marcelo Robinson took turns educating and encouraging our young men to live clean lives, while encouraging them to grow up and become those in whom police police our own communities. Again, talking about community policing in a different way. We expressed to them, as they all shared their fear, white police officers have struck in them, and the hatred they themselves have witnessed even in their young lives. We spent time reversing the pain and the encouragement oppression have fed them about being police officers, by helping them identify the importance of protecting our own. I am deeply saddened, and we will continue to fight for both justice and proper education of our young men and women. Shake my head. I want to say so much, but my words are few and shallow this evening. I hope y'all understand. Shout out to Brother Kasim again for that statement and for the work that he's doing with these kids. And also, I think about this all the time when things go down in school and incidents happen. They usually bring in a counselor to sit down with kids about what's going on. Who's counseling our kids? Who's counseling our kids about people their age getting shot by the police and getting shot by the sheriff's department and getting shot, period? Where's those regular check-ins with the kids? So shout out to, again, Brother BAA, Brother Kasim, Boost to the Roots, speaking with these kids. Shout out to Sherman Wells and the Untamed organization and all the other organizations. I'm even going to shout out the Empowerment Network for the work that they're doing with kids as well. Everybody who's doing work with kids, that's got to be a mainstay for us to be bigging up and bringing out and making sure that people understand there are people working with these young folks. There are people working with them, and things could be a lot worse if they weren't.
Man,
in a big way. So again, I'm just here talking about the activation that I saw happen over the weekend with everybody who's supported, with the families, all the support, everything that's been going on. There's now a fundraiser for the family as well. Donate for Impact with Fearless Females. I'll go ahead and put that link in there as well. If you haven't already gone to the GoFundMe to help the family of Brother Ibrahim, then please consider doing that. Nobody is ready for this kind of tragedy with their child. Brother Ibrahim was 19 years old, on the right track, just graduated. As a matter of fact, Chad Chimer, Brianna Full, we showed that Friday. She had a post where she was very saddened by what happened. She had just shook this young man's hand for graduating, and this happened soon after that. He was married at 18, had a child. And this is not this, and they basically raided a car that he was sitting in front of his own house. and raided the house, didn't find anything. And in the altercation, he lost his life by the hands of the sheriff, a sheriff's officer. So again, this is something that we're going to have to go dig into. We've done a little bit of work here on digging into the actual facts of what's been going on and the news coverage that's been happening with it. And we'll have to talk about it. We'll definitely have to talk about it. Again, special guest Preston Love is going to be here shortly. We'll take a quick break and go ahead and jump right into the conversation. And get ready, y'all, because we're gonna have to talk about it. And this is also a platform for us to really kind of share our feelings a little bit about things as well.
Big time.
So I appreciate that. Excuse me. Wanda Lewis in the chat, good morning, saying there's people in organizations who doesn't say anything that should. This is true too. She says also, what do the newly elected city council representatives have to say about this tragedy, since she believes in more oversight by police? Talking about District 2,
Lavanya Goodwin.
Like Lavanya Goodwin, exactly. Heather Williams says, my 17-year-old is currently learning to drive. We had a long talk and went over instructions about his actions if he's pulled over. I'm terrified for him.
Man,
this has been going around a lot. I've been seeing posts a lot. We have black sons is the hashtag kind of. And everybody's very, very nervous, but very, very scared about what can happen all the way down to age 11. Remember these bills that are trying to be passed here.
Ain't no trying. They moving forward. Craziness.
Anthony Rogers Wright is bringing it back here. He's saying, and right before the 5-year commemoration of George Floyd's lynching.
Man.
I did want to mention that as well. George Floyd, anniversary of George Floyd. This is 5 years ago that this happened. They're trying to clear the police officer's name. They're trying to get him out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting for this, but yeah, 5 years later, here we are still. And I used to have the number of how many people died by the hands of police since George Floyd. I can't remember where I put that number, but it's huge. It didn't slow down.
Looking at it now, 6,816.
Lots to be said here. Well, let's take a quick break and come back and jump into it. Thanks for joining us. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddy the Gawd. Stay tuned.
Lead poisoning in children under 7 is scary, but it's also 100% preventable. Not only can lead be found in paint and soil, it can be found in many common spices, certain baby foods, and brought home from job sites. Children with lead poisoning might not show any symptoms until their levels are dangerously high. So ask your healthcare provider for a lead test for your child. You can help prevent lead poisoning in children.
Shout out to Douglas County Health Department for that message. We appreciate you definitely coming through on that. Don't forget also, man, the communication side of what it is that we're doing is I think is the reason why it's resonating with people. There's not a lot of people that are in discussion with the community about things that are going on in the news. Not even the news outlets. They concentrate very hard on getting the story, but not so hard on talking to the people about the story. But that maybe that's the job, that's the lane, and it takes another lane that like the one we're in to be able to talk to folks and do that. So if you're interested in those types of things, definitely get down with this future communication workshop that's happening. Shout out to Omaha Star for putting these new things together, man. And it says to learn more about editorial and photojournalism from the Omaha Star's Abiola Kasoko and Asia Rollins. with an opportunity to intern at the Omaha Star. Lunch provided. This is happening May 31st. If you have anybody that's interested in it, or if you are, or you got some young people interested, definitely check it out. You can go. You can register there at the QR code. This will be in Friends of First Sky Omaha, but they'll have this meeting at the Shirley Tyree Theater, 2423 North 24th Street. Highly encourage you to do that. This is along the same efforts that we have with our content creator camp that's coming up this summer as well. We all feel like communication is really the key for any kind of movement, change, organization. And so we definitely need all the workshops, all the communications workshops we can to use media to be able to talk about what's going on. You see the news that's going on right now about Brother Ibrahim and the shooting that's happened. They're keeping up with the news in the mainstream, but nobody's really communicating what's going on in our neighborhoods in the way that all the alternative news outlets like Brother Sherman Wells' channel, Miss Cheryl Weston's talks are what we're trying to do here. You see that how necessary it's definitely necessary to keep this communication going. So please, if you're interested in it at all, definitely check in with the Omaha Star. Check in with us on Content Creator Camp coming up as well. So we'll go ahead and jump into it because this is what we're here for in a big way. So appreciate that very much. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright says 2020 was not a racial reckoning. It was the beginning of a racial regression. More people killed by cops since 2020. It's incredible. Sean McCarthy is saying, for all the reforms that were promised, I keep wondering how many have been followed through. They're trying to peel back reforms in a big way. The agreements that the police officers had in Minneapolis is getting rolled back by this administration. Lots to go in and talk about there, but we'll come back to it. Ariel's 402, I appreciate you saying get rid of qualified immunity. Doctors don't have it. EMTs don't have it. People that got their lives in your hands don't have it. It's only the police that have this qualified immunity, allowing them to shoot and kill people without any kind of recourse. And this has been in the news. So many things connected to this is crazy, especially right here in Omaha with, so many different stories of police involved shootings and the process that happens when that happens and where they got to go and take it. We'll be talking about all of it, and go ahead and throw it over to Buddy to go ahead and jump in on this. Comments. What say you, Buddy?
I'll start with just how this has impacted and just shifted my thought pattern personally. And we'll dive into the actual story of, what's being reported as far as what happened so far. But just the feeling, like you said, I appreciate, sharing what Brother Kasim had to say, his post about sharing, and a few people in the chat, sharing those same sentiments as far as just a real fear. And, it makes me think back to conversations that I've had with my mom about just going out to live, going out to visit a cousin or just to do something very mundane, but the possibility that you might not make it home and to know wrongdoing of your own. One thing that jumped out from Brother Kasim's post is the fact that yes, it is important that we talk to our young people about not falling and jumping into the traps that are set for them, not giving an excuse for these types of incidents to happen. But we do know that even in cases where you are clean, even in cases where you do follow the law, where you do comply, where you don't run, you can still end up dead.
Man.
To no fault of your own.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if you want to jump into this clip of Amber Ruffin going in.
Go ahead.
On exactly this point. Yeah, let me see if.
Man, yeah, why you pull that up? Just I mean, that's that feeling, and I say all that to say that feeling has returned to me over this weekend. As I'm preparing to buy a flight to come back home to Omaha, this is where I'm going into, and conversations of thoughts of me being out to visit cousins, to visit friends, to visit, just to visit, to see the town. Sometimes I might drive just at night just to see the new development, to see the new Gene Leahy Mall. But feeling like officers seeing a young brother driving at night with dreadlocks, that alone is a terrifying thought. That I might not make it back to Atlanta if I come home. And this is what I have to deal with. This is what's patrolling our streets. So, and it's not just me. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Anybody really can speak to that. Even
Check this out. Amber Ruffin has been going in. This is on Sherman Wells' page. Appreciate him posting this. Let me know if you can hear the audio on this. Appreciate it.
One study of a mostly white community in Austin, Texas, found that when residents saw a suspicious person who was black, they called the police 60% of the time and only 10% of the time when they were white. Basically, white people decide black people are dangerous, so they call the cops. Black people understand the inherent danger of interacting with cops, so they freak out. And when they freak out, the cops decide they're dangerous. It's a cycle of fear that keeps leading back to black people getting killed. But all this is just part of the reason why a black person might not comply with the police. The second part of that is complying doesn't guarantee your safety. Since 2015, 625 black people were running away from the police when they were shot and killed, which is terrifying. But even scarier, 875 of them weren't. The fact is, sometimes running away gets you killed, and sometimes staying still also gets you killed. Now, I'm a black lady who grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. I do not have the time.
And then she goes in from there to talk about stuff that's going on. Find the full clip online somewhere, YouTube, I'm sure. But shout out to Sherman Wells for posting that. What say you?
Man, again, how many different times have we had, like the real PTSD? And I'm, maybe preaching to the choir for some people, but some people listening and watching might not really know what it's like to live with that fear, to just not be doing anything, and to drive down the street and to see a police officer pass you going the opposite direction and have to check your rearview mirror for the next 2 blocks to see if they made a U-turn. Because that has happened multiple times.
Yeah, knowing that you could lose your life just by driving somewhere.
Just by going to the store, just by sitting in front of your house. So let's go ahead and dive into exactly what happened and why we see ourselves, a lot of us see ourselves in this situation. Again, this being reported by WOWT in particular, or actually, pardon itself, this being reported by KETV7. Douglas County Sheriff's officers have identified, of course, Jesse Ronk as the deputy involved in the shooting death of brother Gennady Ibrahim, or we're going to say his name as well. Again, the young man who was recently a graduate of Blackburn High, a father, a husband, a son, brother, cousin, loved one, again, lost his life at the hands of deputies who said that when they made contact with a vehicle, several suspects fled the scene. Apparently, brother Ibrahim stayed in the vehicle. According to the report, at one point, a deputy fired shots and hit Ibrahim, who later died at a hospital. Of course, his family is still waiting for more information. They pretty much have been in the dark this whole time, which is an issue in itself. And I'm pretty sure, aside from the loss of life, Omaha Police Department and the Douglas County Sheriff's Department will have a lawsuit on their hands in regards to abrogating these people's religious rights and freedoms. Again, Ibrahim, our brother Ibrahim, the Ibrahim family is a Muslim family, and as a part of their religious beliefs and faith, they wanted to be able to bury their loved one within 72 hours, which is an observance of their religion. But again, the Sheriff's Department has not released the body, which is another thread in this whole situation. But of course, as of right now, that body is a part of an ongoing investigation, including also the body cam footage, which, as you saw, the community is calling for. But actually, Sheriff Aaron Hansen has released a video making it very clear that he will not release the body cam footage, at least publicly, until the grand jury investigation process is complete, which is, again, a requirement anytime there is an officer involved shooting. But in, similar cases, as we've seen, the grand jury case usually goes a certain way, especially when you have the Douglas County attorney, Don Klein, presiding over the grand jury investigation, which is a whole nother aspect to this conversation as far as how much do we trust the individuals to investigate themselves.
I mean, it opens up the conversation in a big way about some kind of independent oversight that we've been talking about for a long time. It always feels like an insult to when organizations say they're going to investigate their own organization themselves. And because what is always the outcome when that happens? Have you ever seen an outcome where they investigated themselves and found themselves doing anything wrong and changing up? Not much at all. I appreciate appreciate what you're saying there. People in the chat are having that same feeling. Miss Erica Feld in the chat saying the fact that I felt the need to tell my sons when they started driving that they aren't to just sit in their car taking a break. They're to go into a coffee shop or something. They can't just sit in a car because, of course, then you open yourself up to a lot of things. Also, Wanda Lewis is saying no changes have been made, and it appears that our black men continue to be prey, referencing the recent death of 19-year-old Ibrahim. And we haven't forgotten our brothers Phipps, Ford, Kenneth Jones, and Marvin Ammons and others.
Man,
we have plenty of examples of all these things for real in a big way. Also, Sue Kessler Hagen in the chat, good morning, saying Wanda Lewis. So in other words, this young man did not even do anything but sit there and he was still murdered.
Yep.
Yeah. Anthony Rogers Rice says, I highly recommend everyone read this piece by the great abolitionist, the great Miriam Kaba. Yes, we mean literally abolish the police when we say that. Anthony Rogers Wright has talked about being an abolitionist for a while, and things like this. How can you argue with it? Ms. Erica Feld to say they're getting into prepared for a protest. In my opinion, they also are disrespectful because they could do an autopsy within 3 days, 72 hours. There's been a lot of disrespect thrown at the family. That's another thing that we've witnessed over the weekend as well. Shout out to Sherman Wells and everybody else that's been supporting the family. They've reported on how the sheriff's department has been harassing the family, pulling cousins over and doing all kinds of stuff after the fact. Brother Kasim shot a video of a woman in the community that came by and said, well, maybe he shouldn't have been out here. Maybe if he wasn't out here hanging out, he wouldn't have put himself in that situation. Lots of words have been going back and forth as the family is sitting out mourning and trying to do what they need to do and still being harassed by the community and law enforcement. So this is also something that's very much continued. Don Klein to me is something that is absolutely a subject that has to be approached. I actually want to talk to some folks who have some experience with looking up his record and everything that is needed to figure out who to get in this seat and get him out. Mark Mann says Don Klein showed himself a few times now. There's no debates on how he will proceed. Nobody's wondering about how Don Klein is going to lean on this, on what's going on this subject here. He's been proven, like Mark Mann said, been proven each time he proves where he stands. Never forget him being a Democrat and then changing over to the Republican Party and the whole Republican Party having a big party over it.
Yeah.
And everything that's happened since. Don't forget, Joaquin Fox and groups of people have been outside his house protesting Freedom Summer. A lot to talk about here again. Pop says Omaha is again feeling like a powder keg like in the late 1960s and also in the same times of Will Brown in 1919 when he was shot hundreds of times and then set on fire. Omaha is becoming a war zone. I understand the sentiment. Wanda Lewis says you can't blame the others who ran out of fear, or at least they're still alive. However, they will be punished one way or another. Yeah. We talk about them running away. That's what the police said they did. I've heard reports that's not from the family and from people that have been involved that there was no running away in the way that they're describing it.
At least till after police started shooting is what I'm hearing.
Right. At least till they started shooting for whatever reason they started shooting.
So let's not skip over that. Again, I understand the feeling or the stance that you're not going to release the footage, the body cam footage to the public. There's no reason not to show the body cam footage to the family, which to my understanding still has not happened. That I don't understand. But as far as releasing the body cam footage to the public, I get it. You don't want to taint the pool of possible jurors in the grand jury situation. That's understandable. But from what I'm hearing, that footage is going to definitely have to at least come out to the public eventually. Due to coming from family reports, also via Sherman Wells reports that he's getting from the family. The officer pulled up in an unmarked car.
The sheriff.
Yes, the sheriff pulled up in an unmarked car, and began shooting within seconds of leaving the car again. So very interesting situation. Also, it's been reported that this was a gun investigation. I am thinking of the recently changed gun laws and how that impacts all of this, and we'll get into the legalities of it all and just all the laws that are surrounding this. We mentioned earlier the bill to arrest 11-year-olds and just the super predator rhetoric that surrounds that whole conversation and actually was in the bill per se. Actually literally was in the bill, so we'll dive into that a little later on. But man, just PTSD, bro.
Yeah, in a big way. Let's take a little breather before we go there, though. Speaking of in this investigation that they had, they were investigating this gun situation. They actually made an arrest. Shout out to Ms. Cheryl Weston for posting this. Douglas County authorities made an arrest in connection with the shooting that killed 19-year-old man, Brother Ibrahim. In a release sent Friday, this is the next day after that happened, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office said they arrested Samuel Guy, 18, for unlawful possession of a firearm by a prohibited juvenile offender Thursday evening. He has a record. He's been previously adjudicated for robbery and attempted to commit a Class 2 felony. So apparently he's the owner of the gun. They're saying that he was not at the scene. He was not at the scene, but they arrested him elsewhere in connection with this, which is also, brings up a ton of questions as well.
Yeah,
all of this is under investigation, of course. So we, partly have to rely on the investigators to do their job, which is hard to say that you got any faith in. It's tough. It's tough. This is what Miss Erica Feld is saying. Same thing. Not even in the car. Just going to pull up on these brothers' house with him sitting in the car with people. It's incredible. Incredible what's going on. We got to take a quick break. Just a little short breather so we can kind of get ourselves together here.
Yeah.
And also, we're so anticipating special guest Preston Love Jr. I haven't heard from him yet. He's looks like he might be running a little late. Not sure where he might be. So I'll check on that as well as we go to a break. But stay tuned. We'll come back and discuss these things further. Please do us a favor. Share the show if you're on Facebook, especially. It's easy to share the show on your page. And if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe over there as well. Send somebody the link. This is something that the community really is going in on. I know there's been a lot of talk over the weekend about it all, and so it's a difficult thing to discuss. But we're trying to recap what's going on, not just the story of what happened, but also how the community has responded, and that's what's really important. And hopefully we can use our platform for a little bit of a release and a conversation about this and what to do about it. We're all about the solutions part of the journalism, so that we're here for that. We'll keep trying. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's buddy to Gawd. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. I don't know where Buddy went. He'll be right back, I'm quite sure. Thank you for joining us again. This is a fresh edition happening right now on this Monday, May the 26th, 2025. My name is Paul B. I'm here with Buddy the God, and we'll bring in our special guest. Oh, Buddy's back. Okay.
Yeah,
You all right?
sorry. Yeah. Had to plug in my laptop. Almost died on you. My
Yeah,
bad.
you in that plugging in stuff.
Yeah.
Without further ado, we have a special guest waiting in the wings. Thank you for waiting on that and enjoying the conversation. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I appreciate everybody's expressions, and we'll continue that. But first and foremost, brother Preston Love Jr. in the house. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I appreciate that I passed the test again this morning. That every time I'm on this show, I'm not sure if I can get up.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Welcome to our life. Every show,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get up.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. I tell you that.
Well, we appreciate it, man. I'm sorry that it ended up on such a melancholy day here with the news of this young man that got gunned down last week. The community has really rallied over the weekend. I'm not sure if you saw everything that was going on, but I'm sure that you keep up with things fairly well, and you're involved in the community in a way that helps fix situations as well. What say you on this subject here? How you been feeling about what's going on this weekend?
Well, I'm not liking the bottom line, which is another one of our community members. His life has been taken without, for no reason. Well, there may be a reason or may not be a reason. The big issue on this one is, what is the reason? How did it happen? Why did it happen? And most importantly, no transparency. No transparency. I don't know if I missed any latest news, but the releasing of the videos and some other issues of this nature, any hesitancy on the part of law enforcement to release the information so that we all can assess whether somebody needs to be held accountable. And so I do know that Tim Ashford is appears that he's going to be the attorney at record, and I have talked with him, and I surely want to be supportive to him being tough and us being tough. But with just every time we're up against one of these, we try to be civil. Some of us do.
Brother Love, you got there's some noise there in front of the microphone that you got some. I don't know if what you just did, but you moved some stuff in front of your mic. There you go.
Okay, and I just probably my pillow But I'm just saying I'm talking, but I'm really just saying I'm appalled once again, and once again, we should not have to go through this cycle over and over. Even justify fighting back is part of the issue. But the bigger issue is we have a family that has to go through these kinds of tragedies for apparently, in this case, without it being tried in court for no reason at all. And I've reached the age where I'm probably realistically not able to get in the streets and take off my shirt, and challenge. But I surely am just fed up with excuses and rationale when it comes to our community. I can just reflect all the way back to at least 1969, Vivian Strong,
Mm-hmm.
The community going through the same cycle, and accountability, lack of transparency. My goodness gracious! There may be some later news that you're referencing that I might not be aware of. Is there something specifically that has happened
Well,
very recently?
There's a lot to it, but
yeah.
we'll have to go back to that. We kind of just wanted to hear if you've kept up and how your feelings on the matter
Yeah.
was. We can move on from that.
Okay, I just want to just leave it like this. I surely want to be, as a community elder, supportive of the family, but supportive of Tim Ashford and others who are taking a stand legally on this. And just my heart goes out. But we just we're weighing on the patience of those of us who have patience
Right.
on the issue like that. I'm
So
sorry.
you mentioned Tim Ashford. What part is he playing in that? Is he over? Is that the attorney overseeing the grand jury process, or what role? Who is he representing?
What he's telling me, what I'm going by, what he told me,
Okay.
that he is going to be representing the family,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and so and he asked me, would I stand with him if he does a media thing, and I agreed to do that. But so that's
So yeah,
Okay.
thank you for that information.
and I'm basing that on what he told me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he's straight up on that.
We appreciate that. Didn't know that who was representing the family, so we'll definitely check into that and see if we can have a conversation with him as well.
Yeah.
I want to move on along here because we really had you on. You've been into politics here, and so
Yeah.
the political side of these things that are happening. Definitely want to kind of jump in. You're of course you know that you're the founder of Black Votes Matter, and we just had an election. I know that we brought you on to really kind of talk a little bit about that election. But first and foremost, Black votes mattering and more people voting and people voting, people in the seats. We talk a lot on this show right here now about Don Klein and how to get him out and put somebody else in that seat. What in your how do you feel like things are going as far as the vote is concerned? The political side of our power as a community. Has our votes increased, decreased? Do you see our votes making a difference here in what's going on with law enforcement and the killing of young men and the detaining of 11-year-olds and all the things that's going on in our community now? How is the vote helping that? And are we making some progress or not?
Well, I'm going to give you a one word answer. No, I don't think so. I think we have victories that we can speak to. And I say we, in the collective way, we, of course, the obvious monster in this discussion is Omaha, elected historically our first African American mayor. So we don't want to act like we didn't have a part of that.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, when you strip the covers off this and look at the details, we still are not handling our business. And so, in the midst of a victory such as John's, maybe nobody wants to hear that. But the truth of the matter is, when you look at the precincts in Council District 2 and some of them in Council District 1, we didn't handle our business like we should have. His victory was when you look at preferences, we handled our business. We, in our area, you would assume or hope that we, as a community, preferred John over the sitting mayor. We did, but the numbers, the turnout numbers, were not there yet. No, we were underperformed as it relates to the rest of the city. So, let me say that in spite of ourselves, the truth of the matter is we had a victory, but we didn't. We had 9 people running for city council District 2, and the turnout was I thought was going to be high because we had a lot of people involved.
Mm-hmm.
It was not.
Wow.
And when you put our numbers up against all the other council districts, that's one way of looking at the numbers, is just look at the spread by district. We underperformed. May I say that the whole city repeatedly underperforms when it comes to municipal election. That doesn't make any sense when you think that probably to us the most important races are the municipal race, the city council, mayor. It should be as important, at least, of the national and state races, but it's not.
I'll say
Turnout in 2024, in November of 2024, was in the mid 70s. I think the final number was like 73, 74% of the people who were registered voted. And then 6 months later, in the municipal, the turnout is that mine?
Yeah, there's some feedback happening there.
Yeah.
If you have a headphones to wear, or if not, try to turn your volume down on the computer, or step back from the computer a little bit. I
Okay.
think that try that and see if that helps
Okay.
it out. We apologize for the.
No, I
apologize
hear
for the
that, and I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We kind of need you to wear headphones on this when you're doing this. It's just the tech problem. It's not your fault.
Okay.
Yeah, we apologize for that distraction there to everybody.
Maybe I better clean up my act, say nice things. But Elon is watching. But, so I'm saying that 73% turnout in November, and less than 6 months, the turnout for the city was only 35% or so.
Wow.
But in our community, it was in the 20s.
What do you think the reason for that is? Is it, just people not very high on the candidates, or people not, very excited or really understanding of the process of voting, or is it people not wanting to be civically engaged at all? Like what is it?
Well, I don't think it's intentional and thought provoking. If it was, then maybe we ought to take a look at ourselves. It's not, so if it were intentional, in other words, we've decided not to vote, if you will. There is thought, and we reject the candidates. We reject, democracy in a funny kind of way. I don't think it's that. And that's the easy answer. Or apathy is what what is being said about North Omaha. But what I think, it's a combination, and it's an evolution of a community that has just been beat down year after year, election after election. Partly we've been beat down because we hadn't won in places where we should have won. We've gone, I don't know how many years, I haven't counted up, but our community has not performed during the congressional 2 races that really, partly in many of those years, we were the difference. Had we voted more, we would have had the candidate of our choice, even in 2024. We had, as you well know, won the blue dot in Congressional District 2, and the candidate running in that exact same district, the Democratic candidate lost. That we've done that several times. Usually, if we win the blue dot, we win the congressional race. So, and that is partly due to our lack of performing. But so on the question of why, I work very hard at, even now, I'd hope maybe to be sitting in my big chair, analyzing and giving, but I'm still out there doing what I do. I concentrated in the this past election for at the OHA Towers,
Mm-hmm.
where turnout is not good. I go to the towers and I buy pizza out of my pocket, and uh, I go and use my wit and have fun with them and talk to them about the seriousness of the vote. And when I'm there, gentlemen, they're very up and supportive. You would never guess that on election day they don't come out. Just and I'm just taking that one little slice. And I just think that, and we provide rides, we provide
Mm-hmm.
uh, the forms that you need to fill out for early vote, vote by mail, all of that. I just think we've culturally uh, turned into a community has given up on the what they we feel is the results of the election doesn't make any difference to us as a
Mm-hmm.
community. That's an error, by the way, but uh, that's what it is. Even though when I use OHA again, when I talk to them and get my attitude is when I get through that they're going to vote.
Mm.
My attitude is that they're going to go, but they in real numbers, not so. We I don't know. I'm really stumped
Yeah.
uh, why we don't come out now. African American communities around the country, if you do this analysis, uh, suffer in some cases for lack of turnout. But when the fight is on, we come out much better uh, in the African American communities nationwide than we do in Omaha. It's a tragedy. I
Yeah.
think, and I'll be very brief, but I think that part of what we need to do, as you well know, I take 40 high school kids on my tour, and I think we just are not building civic responsibility into how we raise our kids and in the schools, educate them. Uh, and let me say this, and this is universal, but here in Omaha, is folks are they're beat down with poverty, beat down with things like what's happening here recently on this another police incident, beat down on uh, access to capital, beat down on all of those things, and it's had a damper over the years. It's just gotten worse. I don't know what it's going to take for us to start changing this cycle. We've got to have young people who are out there talking to each other about the value of voting. It's going to have to start at at the level of young folks getting a point and
Yeah.
voting. And
I hear that.
the turnout that we do have very quickly is on on older people do turn out in our community, but but the aggregate is not enough. And so as we lose the older people to not voting because they've aged out, I mean they're just tired and can't get to the polls and all that because they vote. But as the new generations are approaching, they're coming up really short. So that's kind of partly up to us to figure out how to do it. If we need to go where they are, which is on social media, to the concert, the things that they're thinking about, and try to appeal to them at that level. Uh, 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 they're we've got something really a challenge. I
We
don't
do.
want to overstate the fact that we elected this time after 9 candidates, representative for District 2. And in that district, it's very easy to the community to hold the council person accountable. That may also trickle down to lack of turnout if they're not accountable. So we'll have to see. In the case of the mayor, I'm encouraged, because I do think that we will have a mayor that will not neglect North Omaha.
Yeah.
And I don't want to overstate the optimism of what he or she could do, but he could do. But the lack of neglect will have a big impact on our community and all the things and all of the community issues, whether it be healthcare, economic development, and now, again, one more time, the whole issue of the whole criminal justice system, from the police level and then in the courts and all of that. We've got to really, I think, do a better job as leaders in developing a community game plan and,
I hear
and
that.
and hold everybody accountable to it. What we've had problem, gentlemen, in the past is to get the leaders in the same room talking about something that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll
Shout
say
out to Senator McKinney, who said he's been pushing and striving multiple times to get elected officials on the same page, at least all the black elected officials. But
now
Gentlemen,
I'm thinking
we're gonna have to leave
one.
it there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe one of the real benefits of electing John Ewing as the mayor is not one that is on everybody's list. Is that I think he will have the authority to bring the leaders, bring them together. The problem with bringing the leaders together, who gonna call the meeting, and
Right.
whether the leaders would respond. Over the years, we haven't done a good job of that. But I think maybe it's John's celebrity, quite frankly, and his historical victory. We're going. Some of us who are going to be advising and talking with him on the outside is that just that is bringing the leadership together and us developing and addressing the real key problems we have in the community, all of them in the whole circle. And every day, just like we're focusing now on something new that the sheriff's department and the police are doing, that's part of it. And then hold everybody, ourselves and the rest of the community, accountable to our community. And maybe John's victory can make a big difference to that.
hopefully.
Sounds good. Hopefully, we share that sentiment for sure. Gentlemen, we're gonna have to leave it there. It's already 2 minutes past the end of the show, so we appreciate you coming by. We're running a little late this morning, and we again apologize for the technical problems that we have in there. We seem to have these a lot lately, so we
Yeah.
apologize for that.
So
Appreciate
I'm not the only one.
no,
No.
not by any means. We looking at changing programs because
All the
we
way.
need to fix this. But we'll have you back on another time to continue the conversation. We are going to have to get going, but we appreciate you coming
Sure.
by, getting up early for us and coming
Yes,
by.
sir. Well, I'm going to be opening. We can talk about it on another show, North Omaha show, North Omaha Visitor Center,
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of the pieces we talked about it. It's getting close. We're going to cut the ribbon August 1st during Native Omaha days, and so maybe we'll have a chance to talk later this summer in and around Native Omaha days.
Love it.
'Cause
Yeah.
what the Native Omahans are going to see this year is a whole lot things different than they've seen for a couple of generations. We do have good potential economic development projects going on. So
Yes, we
Nice.
do. Definitely have you back and talk about it. Thanks a lot. Take care of yourself. Have a great week. We'll catch up soon.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
All right,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
Yeah.
always a pleasure to hear from the elder there. And we brother Love has a lot of insights, man. We need to really kind of figure out how we can spend even more time talking to him. He talked a lot about Brother Ewing, and speaking of Brother Ewing, I'd like to close out the show with his statement on the subject he just released, and everybody was real happy that he did. He says, "My thoughts
Yeah.
and prayers are with the families of all those involved in the incident. I'm deeply concerned about the increase in officer-involved shootings within the city of Omaha. It is crucial that we thoroughly evaluate these incidents to identify the best ways to minimize the risk of future occurrences. Transparency with the public is paramount in these situations, and we must take appropriate action to ensure accountability at every level. Moving forward, one of my office's immediate concerns will be to conduct a comprehensive review of all officer-involved shootings and assess their impact on our community." Shout out to Brother Mayor Mayor-elect Brother John Ewing Jr. That's his statement, and it kind of brings back that point. My feelings about being a little skeptical about him being the next mayor was because he was involved in law enforcement. But I'm starting to feel a little bit like, when somebody was in the job and they see somebody doing the job wrong, they might, and then now they're in a position of power, they might be able to do something about them straightening up how things can be done. Now that he was working within the law enforcement, now he's the mayor and he's got a different position, and that might make a different kind of difference. So shout out to brother John, Mayor-elect John Ewing. Put some respect on his name. I got that post from Brother Sherman Wells, Brother Kasim, all the grassroots individuals that are boots to the roots, appreciating that there's a mayor that's coming that they might be able to, like Brother Love said, not neglect the north side. So appreciate that and appreciate him. Let's go ahead and move on, man. We're already 5 minutes past the end of the show. We appreciate everybody that is join the chat here. There's a lot going on in the chat. We appreciate everybody who made comments. Please go back and check those comments out. Like and subscribe when you're over there on YouTube as well. Yes, RG, you were saying what I'm thinking. You're going to have to get Brother Love some also, Linda Chicago back saying John Ewing was the right choice. Crickets from Mean Gene.
Man,
Nothing about him. We'll go ahead and wrap, buddy. You got some final words for the people?
Yeah, as anticipated, man, today was not nearly enough time to speak on the subject. We did not get into any of the legal sides of the things. Of course, the grand jury investigation is ongoing, but there's some laws surrounding this conversation, most namely LB 560, looking at again detaining 11-year-olds and just the rhetoric of our young men being viewed, specifically young men being viewed as super predators, a threat to society, rather than young folk who are needing resources and needing help and needing a push to on the right path. The heavy hammer is coming down on their head, man. So we'll continue this conversation. We'll continue our eyes, continue raising awareness, continue pushing forward as far as solutions for this. Don Klein got to get up out of the paint. That's one thing that we can push for, is getting a petition, getting some kind of grievance going on that to try to get enough votes and signatures to get Don Klein out of position of power. Also, still calling on your senators, still calling on officials to pass some common sense legislation as far as Brady Giglio list, as far as no knock warrants, as far as a lot of these processes. So until then, man, reach out to the family. There is a donation link for those who would like to assist. Again, they're looking to raise $5,000 to deal with all the not just the burying of their loved one, but also a family that he left behind. How are they going to move forward as well? So big shout out to everybody who's assisting, who's stepping up. And without further ado, we will continue these conversations. Catch the same time, same place. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hey, there you go. Go ahead and take us away, man.
Yeah, before we do, man, I got one thing I'd love to say too. I'm thinking about this just systematic oppression of just young people in general. We all know that revolution happens when young people's energy and them being on the street, and it just hit me that every generation, when young people start to come up, they get beat down. This is not new. They're not just picking on our young folks right now. They've been doing this. I remember, when a lot of young folks were coming up under the time frame of Fight the Power, Public Enemy. A lot of people started getting arrested. Some people start standing up. You start hearing young folks say, "We are not our ancestors," and then all of a sudden they're getting stomped on. They try and act like it's all YNs now. All these youngs out here that are out here wilding out, and there's some kind of you never forget about Hillary Clinton talking about super predators in the 90s. Man. This is not new. It's not new. Every time young folks come up, they get scared of them, and they try to make them out to be these monsters and demons, and they try to put their foot on their neck, and they're down to 11-year-olds. They're gonna start to what's next in 10 years? Detaining 5-year-olds.
Man, babies coming out the womb. You never know. But yeah, Chairman Fred Hampton was what, 20?
Right.
The same age, brother Ibrahim, pretty much.
And let me tell y'all, like,
Mm.
if you have any inclination to group these young folks together, don't do that either. Brother Ibrahim was just graduated. He was married at 18, had a child. He was 19 years old with his child, and was sitting out in front of his house and got killed by a sheriff. So this is not somebody running in the streets. This is not somebody running in a gang. This is if you outraged, you should be. If you outraged, you should be. And the community is outraged. And the what I saw over just social media alone over the weekend, ain't nobody letting this go by no more. This is not happening.
Man, and I do want to push back on something you said.
Go ahead.
Even if he was in a game, even if he was running the streets, he didn't deserve this.
True that.
Dylan Roof got taken to big McDonald's.
True that. That's not even a pushback. You're absolutely right. I'm trying to appeal to the folks that they're trying to act like he's one of these young cats out here committing all this violence. No,
That's what courts are for. That's what courts are for. That's what judges are for. That's what jails are for. And you go through that process, you still have an opportunity to get out and go home.
Say word.
Now it's over. That's it.
Pop says, thank you for starting the week off right. See you all on Wednesday. Yeah, Pops, heavy one. I feel you. Mama God says, thanks for starting the week with great community news. Thank you. Appreciate you as well. I think I saw Miss Erica Felt give one of her. She says, thank you for a great show to start the week. Great seeing some of the chat chimers here. Drink water and be kind to yourselves. Always appreciate those words. Yep. Anthony Rogers Rice co-signing. Exactly. Yep. You're right. That's all it is, bro. That woman said, Miss Erica Felt says, doesn't matter if he was wilding before. He did graduate from Washburn. Exactly. Yep. We're feeling that. Sean McCarthy says, any person who said he shouldn't be out this late, I just asked how often they were out late when they were in high school and college. And who the fool is talking about anybody being out late? You could be out. You can't be out late now. You can't be sitting in front of your house out late.
That's not out late. Sitting in front of your house is not out late.
First of all, when is it ever in the conversation that anybody is out late? When is it in any other community's conversation they were out late? And so that's a reason to die. That's a reason to get to be messed with. Appreciate you, Sean McCarthy. Thank you guys for participating in the broadcast and everything that's happening. Shout out to Sherman Wells for doing the boots on the ground work. Shout out to Brother Kasim. Shout out to everybody who's been involved here. Sister Tamika Johnson, everybody who's been involved in a big way with helping the family, with reporting this news, and being a part of standing up to what's going on here. They forced the sheriff's department to go ahead and make that statement. I know they felt the heat and got on there and decided to do a video. If you haven't seen any of this, go to Friends of First Sky Omaha and get all the updates on what's been going on here with this particular case. We absolutely will be talking about it later, but hopefully in the sense of being able to figure out what we can do as people. I just wanted to leave that because I just am tired of like even our people that want to demonize these young folks. Gather around, rally around our young folks. They're not the enemy. They're actually being put upon by people, by law enforcement, by this city, by some legislatures that want to put them in jail at 12.
And I feel the need to say something else also. Like, have any of you been in a situation where someone said they were going to kill you? How do you respond? Like, let's stop acting like these young men trying to protect themselves. I've had. Come on, man.
Yeah. Again, we'll continue to speak on this and continue to try to find some solutions together. It's going to take all of it. It's going to take getting the people in the right seats, but it's also going to take grassroots of people like Brother Kasim. It's also going to take the whole community to protect these kids. And first off, Don Klein has to go. Shout out to Wanda Lewis for that comment. Let's go ahead and get out here, man. We can be all day feeling what we're feeling.
man.
14 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, take care of yourselves today. If you're in Omaha, Nebraska, it's good. It's going to be a kind of a rainy day a little later on this afternoon, but it is springtime, so you should expect that. Take your umbrella out when you go, and drive safe and drive slow, please. It's the season of people driving real bad in slick conditions. So please do that. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your kids. Take care of each other. Shout out to Umaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you and to speak with us. Shout out to our guest, Brother Preston Love, who is always a pleasure to hear what he has to say on some things as well. Apologize for the tech problems that we had with that, but it kind of made me listen a little closer to hear what exactly he was saying through all that messed up noise. So hopefully you gleaned something from it and got something from it, and we'll be working on that in future shows as well. Got a nice week of shows coming, so please stay tuned. We'll be back Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. Please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Spread the word. If you have anybody who you think might be interested in having these discussions with us that can contribute something in a positive way, let us know, and we'll even invite them personally if that's what it takes. But we love to get more folks in here on this conversation, and we appreciate the folks that already are. With that, we're going to get out of here. Take care of yourselves. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means necessary.